All right, howdy everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Hello, how's it going? Welcome back, and thank you very much for once again shooting in and joining a fella here for another one. Another live one, as a matter of fact. New West Reset Live, episode 120. And as always, it's Sunday. So we're coming at you live Sunday for the show. Calgary, Southern Alberta, up in Canada land there, eh, buddy? 5 p.m. local time. That's mountain time, don't you know? Sunday, June the 1st. First day of June, 2025. So thank you very much for joining me. Thanks for winding down your weekend here with yours truly. A decent day here today. Plus 15 Celsius. It's kind of cloudy. We had some rain last night, so it's not going to be too hot today. 15 degrees Celsius is roughly 60-ish, low 60s Fahrenheit. It's not the best, but like I said, it's cloudy. We had some rain. We had some wicked whipping wind last night. It was like a chili cook-off around here. It was like a chili convention. It was so windy. I still don't know what that means, but anyway, you get it. Blew in some kind of thunderstorm. There was thunderstorm warnings. I don't know if it hailed. I don't know. It was overnight, so I was sleeping. But prior to today at plus 15, yesterday was plus 32 Celsius. The day before, I think, was plus 30 or plus 32 Celsius. Now, that's low to mid 90s Fahrenheit. So that's hot. That's hotter than the devil's dick, y'all. Woo! Anyway, yikes. That being said, how's your weekend going? Thanks for winding down yours here with yours truly here on this Sunday fun day. Woo! So as mentioned, episode 120. Today we're going to be looking at the magnetic north, the Arctic pole of the old world. Why, you may be wondering? Well, today's the anniversary of the discovery of the magnetic pole. Actually, there's a bunch of different poles. There's the North Magnetic Pole. There's the geographic North Pole. And then there's the North Geomagnetic Pole. I have no idea. It's ridiculous. So no matter what side of the pancake you're on, whether you're, you believe the oit. Hey, Doc, what shape's the oit? Well, it's round. Whether you think it's round like a basketball or spherical like a basketball, shall I say, or flat like a plate, it's still, the North Pole translates to or transfers to the center spot in the plane. The hole in the middle of the record there when you put it down on the stereo, right? But that's the geographic North Pole. That's not the magnetic pole or the geomagnetic pole. Anyways, today is the anniversary of the discovery of the geomagnetic North Pole. Yeah, that's right. June 1st, 1831, by a guy named James Clark Ross. So in northern Canada land on the Boothia Peninsula, up where the Inuit and the Eskimo folks live up there. So yeah, we're going to be looking at him. We're going to have a look at, of course, the the official story of what all that's all about. And as per usual, we'll take a mid-show break, give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek Wednesday's vintage footage, which has nothing to do with the polar region or magnetism. Well, maybe it has something to do with magnetism. But now what you think? Or like sexual magnetism? Attraction? Physical attraction? Anyway, getting ahead of myself. Let's see how everybody's doing. Thanks again for joining me. Say hello in the chat, by the way. See how everybody's doing here in the box. Hippie Shake is here. Howdy, Hippie. Good to see you as always. Hello, hello. Kathy Broughton is here. You know what else is an anniversary today? Kathy's from Kentucky, and it was on this day, June 1st, 1792, Kentucky became an American state. That's right. Also, Tennessee, June 1st, 1796. So happy anniversary or happy birthdays to those states. Kentucky and Tennessee. Yeah, there you go. Wiley's here. Hello, Wiley. From Montana land. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Turtle! Turtle's here. Hey, Turtle! We almost had a tornado last night, Turtle. I was checking the news broadcast for tornadoes, man. Well, Turtle's not a man, lady, but you know what I'm saying. Buddy. You know what I'm getting at. I was looking for, was there a tornado touchdown? That's how windy it was. That's how windy it was. I was getting ready to hunker down. I was shaking like a leaf on a tree. Pasture of Castles in the box. Hello, hello. Stoked for today's topic. Yeah, we're going to look at the misadventures of Mr. Ross, the discoverer of the geomagnetic North Pole. But we're also going to look at the ancient people who inhabit this frozen land up there. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Good to see you. General Fitty Tree is here. Hello. How's it going? Baja is in the box. Celsius is weird. Yeah, metric is kind of, especially when they switch it on you in school, right? You start off in school taking the imperial measurements, right? How many feet? How many yards? How many yards is that? You know, how many pints, quarts, all that. Next thing you know, no, we're going to do centimeters and kilometers and all that. Kilograms. Great, thanks. Digital archaeology over on the Bumble. Hello, hello. Yes, links below, by the way, for everything we're going to be covering, as well as social media, my email, BitChute, MeWe, and of course, we're always broadcasting simultaneously over on the Green Fighting platform, the Bumble. Welcome, everybody, over on the Rumble. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody who's already subscribed and shared. If you haven't already, maybe, consider giving a guy one of these. Just kind of helps to push me out into the thing, don't you know? If you're watching this after the fact, appreciate that. Thanks for taking that chunk of your time there. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hello. Curtis is here. Howdy, Curtis. Good to see you. Martin 11. Evening all. I'm watching on phone. No chat as usual. Just popping in to head around the door to say hi. There you go. Appreciate that. Hello. Howdy. Deanne is here. Hello, Deanne. How you doing? So, yeah, links below. We're going to look at the Wikipedia. I also found a nice photo gallery on the Guardian.com. So we'll have a look at that briefly. Then we'll take a mid-show break. And then, as per usual, give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek. Vintage footage. This one's from the 40s, 1941, I believe. Something that Kathy sent me. So I made it into a nice little thing for y'all. So yeah, there you go. Old World, Michigan in the box. Howdy. Hello, hello. Speaking of links below, my location map is down there, as well as a guy's PayPal. So, if you care to donate to the PayPal for, stuff like, so I can go to the store and get maple bacon, maple syrup, some maple donuts, and some maple sugar. Maybe maple glazed ham. But yes, my location map is there as well, courtesy of... Oh, I clicked on the wrong person. Title, I meant to click on Cousin Vinny over here. Hey, how you doing, Cousin Vinny? Huh? Cousin Vinny. So now you know what I'm talking about with the whole New West Reset thing. No. What? No. What I said about Frankie Fingers. That Frankie Fingers a New West Reset of the same. Wait, what? That's right, Frankie Fingers and Cousin Vinny. Good to see you, buddy. All right, so yeah, this geomagnetic North Pole by James Clark Ross. This guy. Let's see what we're talking about here first. We'll just open up the goggle machine. Just go right to the goggle maps and just look at it there. Why not? Gives you, an idea of where we're looking at here, there, buddy. Because honestly, this is in Canada land, and I've never heard of it. I always thought that there was two cockamamie North Poles, right? The geographic North Pole and the magnetic North Pole. Yeah, apparently right here on this Boothia Peninsula, way up in Nunavut. Way up where the Huskies go, and don't you eat that yellow snow. Was where this fella discovered the geomagnetic North Pole. So, Canada's huge. It's ridiculous, right? I'm way down here. So it's a long way to go for some boots in the ground. So I figured we'd just have a look at it right here. So this guy, this James Clark Ross. Let's see what the Wikipedia has to say about this guy. Of course, I always go with the Wikipedia, because that's what the normies use, right? Nobody gets off their duff and goes down to the library, pulls out 6 or 7 books to look stuff up anymore. Those were the days, though, right? Where you'd hop on the trolley, right? And you drop your dime in the slot and get on the trolley, the tram, the streetcar. You roll down, library, get off, go inside. It was beautiful, brick and stone mansion or castle-like building. And you could go in there and pull out all kinds of reference material. Yeah, now it's just, boodly boop, boop, boop on the phone and or whatever, and there you go. So I kind of take this with a grain of salt, especially the Wikipedia. But here we go. James Clark Ross. He was a British Royal Navy officer. These guys that discover stuff, they're always British Royal Navy for some reason. So, he was an officer and explorer, which seemed to go hand in hand. Both northern and southern polar regions. Well, that seems to be another thing, too. All of these guys that explore one pole end up exploring the other at some point. So in the Arctic, he participated in 2 expeditions led by his uncle, John Ross. By the way, this was my mistake. It's Sir James Clark Ross, not just Jimmy Ross, Jim Ross from WWE. Anyway, he led William Edward Perry in the Antarctic. He led his own expedition from 1839 to 1843. So he was born in Londinium, son of George Ross, nephew of John Ross, whom he entered the Royal Navy on April 5th, 1812. Oh, just in time for the War of 1812. Wouldn't you know that? He was active participant in the Napoleonic Wars. Well, there we go. Being present in action commanded by his uncle, yada, yada. Okay. Arctic exploration. Here we go. Participated in John's unsuccessful first Arctic voyage in search of the Northwest Passage. Everybody was just bound and determined, going nuts trying to find that Northwest Passage. It's amazing. BMW chick on the Bumble. Hello. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, got to get the Northwest Passage. So in 1818, aboard the Isabella. Nice painting of it there for you, obviously. Between 1819 and 1827, Ross took part in 4 Arctic expeditions under William Edward Perry. Taking particular interest in magnetism for some reason and natural history. This was also where he served as midshipman with Francis Crozier, who would later become his close friend and second in command from 1829 to 1830. Again, he served under his uncle on John's second Arctic voyage. It was during this trip that a small party led by James Ross, including Thomas Abernathy, a Scottish seafarer, located the position of the North Magnetic Pole on June 1st, 1831, on the Boothia Peninsula, the far north of Canada land, and James Ross personally planted the British flag at the pole. Well, of course. No painting of that, though, is there? Or a sketch? An etching? Wood carving? No? Well, Probably a good guess there, by the way. Pastor of Castle says probably a Mason. Yeah, a lot of these British Royal Navy guys were. Coincidence? Probably not. Probably not. So it was on this trip, too, that Ross charted the Beaufort Islands, later renamed Clarence Islands, by his uncle. Ross then served as supernumerary commander of HMS Victory in Portsmouth for 12 months. October 28th, 1834, he was promoted to captain, and in December of 1835, he offered his services to the Admiralty to resupply 11 whaling ships, which had become trapped in the Baffin Bay, up in Baffin Island there, A lot of troublesome waters up in the northern Arctic Canada land there, buddy. They accepted his offer. He set sail in the HMS Cove, January 1836. Crossing was difficult. By the time he'd reached last known position of the whalers in June, all but one had managed to return home. Ross found no trace of this last vessel, William Torr, which was probably crushed in the ice, December 1835. He returned to Hull in September of 36 with all of his crew in good health. Then he went on to do a British magnetic survey, and then some explorations in the Antarctic. April 8th, 1839, he was given orders to command an expedition to Antarctica for the purposes of magnetic research and geological discovery. Between September 1839 and September 1843, Ross commanded HMS Erebus on his own Arctic expedition and charted much of the continent's coastlines. I hadn't even heard of this fella. We're always scrutinizing the Antarctica, the continent of Antarctica on the maps and whatnot, right? Captain Francis Crozier was second in command of the expedition, commanding HMS Terror, with Senior Lieutenant Archibald Murdo. Francis Beaufort was support. Painting there. So then he took a bunch of measurements across the Antarctic Circle on January 1st, 1841. Discovered the Ross Sea, Victoria Land, and coastline Possession Island, Franklin Island. Okay, there you go. And then he went looking for Franklin's lost expedition in January of 1848. So link below for the very interesting Sir James Clark Ross discovered the geomagnetic North Pole. On this day, back in 1837? What was it? I forget now. Let's have a look at this, where this is located here. Just on the Wikipedia, once again, real quick, this Boothia Peninsula. Real quick, fast, and in a hurry. See what's what with this place. I never even heard of it. Again, I'm Canadian. It's Canada land. It's a pretty big, it's almost an island, but not quite. It's connected. There, you can see. So, you know, be that as it may. What's going on here? It's not letting me do my thing now. Great. Cut it out, will you? Technical difficulty. Boop. Here we go. Boothia Peninsula, formerly Boothia Felix. Okay. Inuktitut. That's the language where they call it Kingungliap Nunanga. That's terrible. I butchered that. I'm sorry, Inuit people. It's a large peninsula in Nunavut's northern Canadian Arctic, south of Somerset Island, northern part of Murchison Promontory. It's the northernmost point of mainland Canada. It's still considered mainland. It's connected to northern Quebec there. No, it's not. Sorry, that's Nunavut. Quebec's down over here. It sort of looks like Quebec, but I got confused. Kathy Broughton in the box says, my grandma Broughton's maiden name was Ross. I imagine it might be a common name in America. A surname, that is, Ross, right? It was Betsy Ross that made the American flag, the old red, white, and blue. Stars and stripes and whatnot, right? Chassie Nix is here. Hello, Chassie. Chassie Nix in the box says, hey, all you lovely souls. Good to see you. Hello, howdy. All right, so geography. The strait separates the peninsula from Somerset Island to the north, Babbage Bay on the east coast, and is Abernathy Bay just to the south. Community of Teloyuk lies in the far south and is the peninsula's only significant population center. Paisley Bay is on the west coast, as is Wrottesley Inlet between Paisley and Bellot Strait. Prior to the detachment of Nunavut in 1999, Boothia Peninsula and nearby Melville Peninsula were only parts of mainland Canada that belonged to the District of Franklin in the then Northwest Territories. Yeah, Northwest Territories used to be, where Nunavut is now, all across the Arctic region up to the Yukon, which is beside Alaska. You got Alaska, Yukon, Northwest Territories, Nunavut to the east. Then they split the Northwest Territories to make this area Nunavut now. Probably because it's just really fun to say. Where do you live? I live in Nunavut, bud. Where do you live? Toronto. Bummer. So it's in the Arctic archipelago. There are crops of early Ordovician rocks, over which late Ordovician and Silurian rocks are identified. Excuse my, I know that's terrible. Not a geologist, not a rock hound. So John Ross was forced by ice to stop for 4 years at its easternmost point. Starting in 1829, he named it after his patron, Sir Felix Booth. Ross encountered a large Inuit community whom he described as living in snow cottages, i.e. igloos, and immortalized in Ross's painting North Hendon. I'm guessing that's this here, maybe? In 1831, his nephew James Clark Ross went overland and reached the North Magnetic Pole, which was then on its western side. He also crossed west to King William Island. Henry Larson's second successful traverse of Northwest Passage passed through the Bellot Strait. Larson deemed the strait too shallow for larger vessels and described how his vessel was almost crushed by ice floes when there was a change in the wind's direction. Sounds like me last night, eh? On his return voyage, Larson passed north of Somerset Island. So, yeah, there's where it is. Boothia Peninsula, right here. Northwest Passage, I think those guys were messing around over in here. Around here, maybe. So that's your geomagnetic North Pole. That's, again, I don't get it. I really just don't get it. What's with all the different poles? Your North magnetic, your North geomagnetic, and then your geographic. Why? Why? Well, just add chaos to confusion, I suppose, because, you know, it's just the way it is, I guess. I don't know.
Let me ask you something. How come you asking so many jackassy questions?
Hi ho, Sherry. Sherry Ives in the box. Good to see you. Quenitap. Old World Mi'kmaq is here in the box. Good to see you. Hello. Pasture of Castles says geographic north is in the center of the moon map. Well, yes, I've seen that thing. Magnetic north is below Polaris. Yes, the North Star. But apparently Polaris isn't always the same luminary in the sky as well, supposedly. I don't know. Ubu Khan is here. He says, I was listening to some Zappa and realized I was missing Fickle Finger of Fate Frankie. That's a mouthful. Try saying that 5 times fast. Moon Unit to the rescue. Yeah, wasn't that his daughter's day? Didn't she do the voiceover in that Valley Girl song? She's a Valley Girl. Oh, like my God, gag me with a spoon, like for sure. Cousin Vinny says the magnetic pole is drunk. Well, it keeps moving around. There's all kinds of graphs and flow charts and diagrams when you look into it about this year it was measured here, and then it was measured over here in this year, and so on, and then it boopity boop 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 all over the place. Yeah, moon and Dweezil is the sun, right? Dweezil. Oh, that was Moon Unit's song. Oh, I thought that was. Oh, okay. But he was on it with her, though, because, you got to get that nepotism in there to help push the multi-generational musical acts out there for the public to consume. Frank Zappa's okay. I don't know. I never got into Frank Zappa. My cousins and friends and stuff were in Frank Zappa, and I was just like, nah, sure, okay. I don't know. He's kind of a weirdo. He's a bit of a weirdo. Got a pretty glorious mustache and soul patch, though. I will say that. Pastor of Castle says I'm more of a Captain Beefheart guy. Yeah, it's an acquired taste as well. You know what I'm saying there? Yeah, But be that as it may. So let's quickly have a look at this Guardian.com. This is Art and Design Gallery. It's from 2015, but it's life in 1900s, early 1900s, that is, Canada in pictures. This is Inuit peoples in the Arctic, basically where we're talking about, the farthest reaches of northern Canada land. And again, links below for everything that we covered on the Wikipedia, and I'll put the link for this one down in the box below as well. Again, theguardian.com. So this is photo collection from Geraldine Moody. She overcame harsh conditions to become Western Canada's first professional female photographer. Well, zippity-doo-dah. Anyway, capturing beautiful images in the country's most remote regions, an exhibition of North of Ordinary. The Arctic photographs of Geraldine Douglas Moody is at the Glenbow Museum, Calgary. There you go. Well, it was. It's not there anymore. So where do we got here? Inuit women and children at summer camp at Fullerton Harbor, Nunavut in August. Just chilling. This kid's side-eyeing the camera. What's going on? What are you doing? Inuit women, Inuit woman, Kutuktuk in her beaded Atigi, Fullerton Harbor, Nunavut, February 1905. It's a lovely photo. A fetching young lady. This is all knots, needlework, and beads that I'm assuming are made out of shells of some sort. And of course, hide. Most likely seal. Could be walrus, but probably seal. Seal are more plentiful. Oh, look at the Arctic fox here, I'm guessing. Hudson's Bay store covered with furs in Churchill, Manitoba. Oh, you don't say. You're talking Canada. You're talking back in the day. You got to throw in the Hudson's Bay Fur Trading Company. Of course. Of course. Yeah, I thought so too. Ubu says cool outfit. Ubu Khan in the box. Thunderbird. It's much easier to pronounce than her actual Indigenous name, I'll tell you that. So Hudson's Bay Company store covered with furs, Churchill, Manitoba, 1906 to 1909, somewhere in that neighborhood, they're guessing. Whew. Man, oh man. It wasn't just beaver pelts, my friends. Inuit man, Kingnuk of the Kinapetu tribe, Fullerton Harbor, February 1905. Handsome young fella. Inuit village, Fullerton, 1903. Yep, there's where you get your igloo narrative. Of course, we'll see that wasn't necessarily the case for all nations, because the Inuit aren't, it's like, Indians, right? American Indians or Indigenous Canadian First Nations. It's not like they're all the Indians. They're all, feathers and riding horses and buffalo, and I mean, each nation was comprised of different tribes. Those tribes all had different, tribes and nations all had completely different cultures. The way they looked, the way they dressed, the language, the music, everything, the art. And it's no different with the northern peoples of the Arctic, the quote unquote Eskimo, the Inuit. Inuit man, Tupilok of Kenepetu tribe, Fullerton, 1904. Yeah, that's keeping you warm there, man. Especially with those mittens, bud. This guy is warm. Yeah, Ubu, you're right. Ubu Khan in the boxes look like you could spear a whale or two. Yeah. Digital archaeology over on the Bumble says Hudson Bay officially out of business today. That's right. Founded 355 years ago. They had a good run. Yeah, they had a lot of sketchy stuff in their past. But yeah, with that said, they were the world's oldest continuously operated company. So supposedly that's what they say. Anyway. Goes on to say Canadian Tire bought their intellectual property, though, but that's it. Yeah, I wonder what's happening to all those almost 400 years of archives and just all the stuff. They just have so much stuff. Scott Pike in the box. Hello, Scott. Good to see you. Oh, there it is. The fabled tall ship frozen in the ice. DGS Arctic frozen in the ice. Fullerton Harbor, 1905. Not good. Inuit woman, Mirkyuk, and her child, Fullerton Harbor. Fullerton Harbor is must have been like the place by the looks of it. It's probably where that Hudson's Bay so-called trading outpost was. Inuit igloos, Fullerton Harbor, 1903, October, yeah. Yeah, winter's kicked off here for October, probably about a month now, since around September-ish, early September. Starts getting below zero consistently enough. Start getting snow and, See what they're doing, though. They're building igloo out of snow or ice blocks, snow blocks, compressed snow, compacted snow. But they're also putting animal hides over them. And there's also some sort of wooden thing going on here as well. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. We'll have a closer look at some of this with the photos in the second half of the show. But, viewer discretion advised. Sorry. Loading a polar bear carcass onto Neptune. The boat, I'm guessing. Hudson Bay, July 04. Look at the size of that thing. Poor bear. Inuit woman ice fishing in Fullerton, 1905. I got a better photo of this contraption because it's amazing as well. It's basically a very rudimentary reel, rod and reel. It's 2 sticks. Works really well. Yeah, sorry. I kind of forgot that was in there. I could have quickly scrolled past it or something. Sorry. Definitely not cool. I agree. Well, there's a nice shot of a tall ship with the iceberg in the background. That's a great shot. Dominion government steamer Arctic in front of an iceberg at the mouth of Hudson Strait. Hudson Strait leads in and out of Hudson Bay. 1904. You're ready to pick up some fur. Inuit woman Uktuk with her child in Fullerton, 1904 or 05. 120 plus year old photos here, people. Look at these beautiful designs in her clothing here. Again, all this knot work, stitch work, bead work. And traditionally, the needle would have been bone or made from ivory, from tusk, maybe. And I don't even know what the fiber is that they're using as thread. I couldn't even guess. But just incredible. But also super practical, right? Like there's a reason for these flaps. Maybe this pulls over your footwear like a muckluck. I don't know. Additional layer maybe, but incredible. So everything's tight around the wrist, up high around the neck. Keeping that cold out. Yeah, so there you go. That is, once again, theguardian.com art and design gallery of Geraldine Douglas from 2017. And those photos were all between 1900-ish and 06, 07-ish. Scott Pike in the box says, ice fishing requires peppermint schnapps. Schnapps, schnapps. Schnapps, schnapps, schnapps. This is the German three. Oh no, this is the German three. Schnapps. All right, so where are we at here? 45 minutes in. What do you say we take a mid-show break? Give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek. And we'll come back and we'll have a look at some more photographs, stuff we can zoom in on and stuff that I was kind of digging around and found. Again, of these same Arctic peoples. Get a little bit of a better look at, the culture, the attire, the jewelry, the craftsmanship and workmanship, but also the surroundings. Let's see if we can, as per usual, poke some holes in the narrative. Oh, good. A siren in the background. Hear that? Shout out to Terry Light. You can't have a New West live show with Frankie Fingers without having the cops are trying to get me. The cops are coming. They're coming to get Frankie Fingers over here. So, Tommy, where have you been, huh? I've been watching New West Reset. Huh? Well, it's New West Reset. It's this thing on YouTube. He goes around, he does his boots on the ground thing. They'll tell you. Howdy, Morgan. Morgan is here. Isabella Live 2.0. So if you're new to the channel, or as a quick reminder, every Sunday we do the live show. Every Wednesday, vintage footage, old-timey video. The older the better. I try to keep it Canadian and put it up with some music. And Sunday, I give you a sneak peek at that upcoming vintage footage midweek there on the Wednesdays. And then Friday, boots on the ground. And that brings it back around to, Sunday for the live show again. So this is coming up Wednesday. This is Ladies Fitness, 1940s, 1941. As mentioned, Kathy sent this to me a while back. A while. It's a short one. Short but sweet. Some wacky fitness contraptions the ladies are using in this one. Just a couple minutes long. So stick around. Be right back on the other side of 2-ish minutes. All right. Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Where they call right, and we are back. Welcome back, everyone. Frankie here. New West Reset. Hello. New West Reset Live, episode 120. For the evening show here, we are looking at the magnetic north Arctic pole of the old world. Thanks for shooting in and joining me here. Really appreciate it. As per usual. Thanks for winding down your weekend here with yours truly on the Sunday Fun Day. Woo! For the show here, it's the anniversary, June 1st, 1831, Sir James Clark Ross discovered the North Magnetic Pole up in Canada land, eh? So we looked at a little bit of that top half of the show. It's also the anniversary of when Kentucky and Tennessee became a state in the good old US of A. So yeah, thanks for winding down your weekend here. We've just been kind of goofing around, poking holes in the narrative as per usual. Just having a little fun with it.
You know what I mean? All right, we're having a good time.
If you haven't already, maybe consider giving a guy one of these. Just kind of helps to push me out into the thing. You know how it goes. Do all the other stuff down here. You know, it helps me. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for all your support. Everybody who comments and shares and gives me suggestions, sends me emails, or reaches out and says, hey, check this out. Hey, check that out, eh, bot? What do you think of that there, eh, pal? Huh? And as always, if you're watching this after the fact, again, I really appreciate your support as well. Links below for everything we discussed. Just got a bit of a stutter there. As well as how you can get a hold of a fella, you know, all the social medias and whatnots. Kathy's all settled into her new place. She's still in Kentucky. Moved recently. Old World, Michigan's here. Hello. Jumping in on the video. Yeah, what'd you think of that? What? Kathy says, I forgot about this clip. Pastor Castle says, this rules. It does, right? Baja in the box says that looks like something that could go really bad. Yeah. The rowing machine, yes. Yeah, the rowing machine is pretty much the only contraption there that's, I think, is, you know. Yeah, you can't do that disrobed. Definitely not. Nope. Too many things to get caught in too many things, you know? Oof. Reminds me of that scene in There's Something About Mary. Anyhow, before we get off the rails again, thanks for joining me here. Magnetic North, Arctic Pole of the Old World, episode 120 here on this Sunday, June the 1st, creeping up on 6 p.m. local time. It's mountain time, and as per usual, coming at you from Calgary here in southern Alberta, Purdy, Alberta, up in Canada land, you know, up in the north, but not as far north as the Arctic, Canadian Arctic Circle there. You have Beans and Franks, Frankie Beans and Franks. Yeah, yikes. Just yikes. I can't get the image out of my head now. I just can't. Hello, S. Hello. Thanks for shooting in. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, I don't know what you prefer to be referred to as. S or S. S isn't even accurate. It would be lowercase s. But hello, welcome. Yeah, see? I'm sorry. It is what it is. I don't know. I don't know. Great question. Cousin Vinny, Vincent in the box says, what were those machines even meant to accomplish? I don't know. Pulverize the fatty tissue that develops, and the ladies sometimes get cellulite. What have you? Well, I mean, a lot of people eventually get up there. The cellulite develops. I think fellas can eventually get it too. I'm pretty sure they can. On your hiney, the backs of your legs. And it's supposed to pulverize that into microscopic little bits that can then be reabsorbed into the body. Some cockamamie scheme, I'm sure. I don't know. Just do not know. That's yes. Subukan says that could damage your Canadian bacon. Wow. Wow. That is graphic. Yeah, cellulite removal. That's kind of what I'm guessing. I don't know. It just looks cockamamie to me.
Shenanigans.
It's really, some salesman comes to your local health spa back in the 40s, right? Say, Bob, if I ever get a deal for you, the latest and the greatest of newfangled machinery to get you fit and vim with vigor and vitality. Like, yeah, keep kicking rocks, hit the bricks, bub. You don't need your cockamamie machines that get things caught in things around here, bub. We'll do the old-timey calisthenics, all right? That's right, take a hike, go pound sand, kick rocks. Hit the bricks, bub. Anyway, let's look at some photographs here. It's not a huge file, just a couple dozen photos. But as mentioned, we can kind of zoom in on some of them are very similar from what we looked at from that Guardian photo gallery. And some I think I may have actually grabbed from that as well, but we can zoom in on some stuff. These are old photos. These are going to be from around that same time period, roughly 1900 through to pre-WW1. So let's say 1900 to 1915. We'll make it nice, even 15. Never heard that one? Pastor of Castle says pound sand. Never heard that one. I don't even know where I got that from. I heard it somewhere and I pinched it. You know what I mean? I pinched it. All right, let's sorry, I'm getting confused. Dead air and the clicking of the mouse, the frantic clicking of the mouse. Now you're gonna, we're gonna have to remember here the parlance of the times. The date of these things, April 11th, 1911. So they're the preferred nomenclature of Inuit. You're gonna seldom see. I'm sorry, they're just gonna be calling them Eskimos. Okay, Eskimo girl with a broad plank snow shovel. Yeah, that's what they used. What looks like a tandem snowboard, like a tandem water ski or a snowboard, is in fact their snow shovel. Some of them taper up at the top here a little bit. But yeah, it's not a one long stick with a scoop on the front where all that weight is supposed to be somehow carried by that skinny wooden dowel of a stick that snaps on you all the time. And then every winter you got to get a new shovel. See, like this. See how it's kind of tapered? See how this looks like a giant still to make yourself some corn mash liquor? But that's not. That's a plank, a snow shovel plank. An Eskimo woman with a snow shovel. And her child, don't forget the child, a couple of wolves in the background. Look out! Look out there, lady. Oh, that's not a wolf. It's a husky or a malamute. Okay. Whew. We got here a seal, an otter. I don't know. Another dog, maybe. All right, there's them 2 sticks, people. Sorry, it's kind of pickulated, but so you get your fishing line, you get your lure, you get your hole in the ice, right? Get yourself a rock or a log to sit on, apparently. Comfy. Anyways, you set yourself down for a long afternoon. Actually, it's not going to be that long because it's winter, enough to freeze, which means the days are pretty short. So you're probably only going to be sitting out there for 5 hours. So yeah, that's fine. It's doing all right. Look at that stack of fish she's got here, huh? But anyways, you got your fishing line. Maybe that's the bait. I don't know. Maybe she's pulling seals up. I don't know. Or sea lions. I don't know. But anyways, there's your line. And it's tied to one of these sticks. And then it's just looped around the sticks. So to reel the line in and out, you just have 2 sticks and you just do this. And you just wrap your line or unwrap it. And you get 2 sticks that you could pull with both hands. It's ingenious. Look at this hole. That's why she's got that shit-eating grin. It's like, I can do this with my eyes closed, son. My eyes closed. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. This is from the archives of the University of Alaska in Fairbanks. Not sure why this is all. Looks like it's dug out or shoveled away, possibly, but this is terra firma. This is ground. And these ain't igloos here. This is a wooden and animal hide, basically leather structure. There's another one. There's another one. Some huge thing back here. And then back here in the distance too. So not quite the wooden or the snow-domed igloos that we always think about. Some, yes, and I imagine going further north along the coast, going up to the northern coast, the Arctic Ocean coast, where they're going to be going on a hunt, an organized hunting party where they would be gone for a couple of weeks. They would erect a temporary shelter, and that would be an igloo. And obviously for summertime, when all the snow and the ice melts, they're not living in igloos now, are they? So I think some tribes, I don't know if that's the right term, tribes, probably lived in these year-round. Much like the American Indian, the Indigenous First Nations of Canada. Some most likely followed migratory buffalo, right? Bison. But coastal Indigenous peoples didn't have to. And around the Great Lakes, they farmed as well. Corn, different kinds of berries, grapes, all them shits, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's not like, year-round igloos because it's year-round snow and ice. Don't let the climate change people fool you, right? You're a bright bunch in the box. I'm pretty sure you don't believe a dang word they're saying, but anyway. So yeah, some wooden and canvas or wooden and hide structures. Not quite like a teepee and a wigwam, maybe more like a longhouse or a lodge house, maybe. Melted Syracuse, New York, in the box. How's it going? Jesse Nick says things aren't adding up in the pictures in region. Yeah, because we're told, Eskimo. They got the sled dogs. They live in the domed igloos made out of snow and ice. Because they hunt the whales and the sea lions or seals and walrus, polar bear, Arctic fox. All that's true to some extent, but here you've got permanent or semi-permanent structures. There's no snow or ice in sight, and this is 100 years ago. This is early 1900s. This guy's got a waistcoat on. He's probably traded it or bought it. Hudson's Bay Company. Some traditional outfits here, but some maybe not so much what you would think. It's mild enough where the children or the babies are just, in their birthday suits. Oh, naturel. This lady's having the time of her life. She's having a blast. Cute baby, but she's just whoopee. She loves getting her picture taken. When they get together for a party, Nuktiok here, she's the life of the party. I guarantee you. Her, not so much. But it's mild enough where they're hanging their stuff to dry, These outfits maybe you'd think of, sure. The papoose and all that crap, sure. But look, there's leaves and twigs in the ground. They're sitting on a giant log. Oh, there's nothing up there but ice, snow, and polar bears trying to get you. Yeah, to some extent. Look, here they are, right on the shore. Oh, they just eat raw whale blubber. It's, they get a campfire going here. They get their cooking pot. So this was captioned that these fellas are visiting the North or the Hudson's Bay Trading Company trading post up in what is now Nunavut. Hence the fancy tea service. Because unless they traded for it or bought it, these guys aren't going to be rocking fancy tea cups and saucers. But if they go to the outpost, sure, they can get a hot cup of tea. As Canadians like our tea. There you go. There's a great shot. By the way, notice the wood frame, wooden clad structure here in the background. Not a snowy igloo. It's beautiful jewelry. Now, these are handmade clothing that they made or somebody in their tribe or nation has made. Look how beautifully lined up and symmetrical everything is, where they have to join the different pelts together and stitch it all. And then they use the tufts of longer fur as sort of accents. It's the mukluks. They come up high and you tie them, kind of like gaiters, and then they're tied tight so snow moisture doesn't get down in there. Melted Syracuse, New York. This is very stylish indeed. Yeah. And again, all the beadwork, stitch work, all of this. I mean, that's obviously not a pattern in the animal's fur. That's the triangular badger of northern Canada. It's very rare. Isn't that right, Sir Attenborough? Yes, the triangular badger is found only in the Arctic regions of what is northern Canada, today known as Nunavut. A very rare sight indeed. Again, those mucklucks, those are super warm, practically waterproof. But not what you would expect, quote unquote, Eskimos. Again, early 1900s photos. This is obviously, she traded this. That's the Hudson's Bay outpost, trading post. Like to poke fun at Sir Attenborough. So an Inuit man and woman, a married couple. A couple of their dogs, a couple of them dogs. Say, buddy, can I pet that dog? Can I pet your dogs? Look at how cute. This one's smiling for the camera. He's mugging for the camera. I'm going to name him Rufus. Quit playing, Rufus. Beautiful, beautiful dogs. But what in the Siam steel is this giant rock wall in the background? Can I just ask? The dogs are cute. The Inuit folks are lovely. Again, with the hand-stitched, very practical clothing. Puffy shoulders so you can move your arms around when you're doing your tasks and toiling away at your chores or what have you, right? Fishing, hunting, whatever you're doing. And it's cold. But yeah, that's great. This guy's got glorious hair, by the way. I only wish I had your hair, Nanook. I wish. But what is this wall? What are we looking at here, people? I'm asking because I do not know. All I know is this is somewhere up in the Arctic territories, up in what's modern day Nunavut, Canada. Exactly. Morgan, Isabella Live 2.0 says, what in the Sam Hill is this wall up here in Northwest Territories? Yeah. Melted Syracuse says those walls are everywhere. Yeah. Ubukan, the stonework. Indeed. My pal Bill is here. William Pals. Hello, buddy. How are you? No, these are up in Nunavut. So, Northwest Territory. North of the Hudson's Bay. Up at the Arctic Circle. But, I mean, look at these bloody... Some of these boulders are huge. Huge, man. I don't know. Me no understando.
That doesn't make sense.
These folks, by the narrative, right? By the official story, these folks don't have time, nor the inclination, nor dare I say what we're told is the skill set to build big rock structures. No, they're too busy chasing after seals and caribou, reindeer, and try not to get ate by a polar bear. They build them some igloos to live in. They use whale oil as the little candle for heat and to cook, because there's nothing up there, just ice and snow and dog sleds and wild nature, right? Wild Arctic nature. So they didn't have time to build walls and permanent dwellings and structures. Nope. That's why they lived in igloos, or at best, variations of teepees. Okay. So what were those wooden structures in those other photos? And what's this bloody wall then? Just curious.
No questions, damn it. No questions.
Anyways, moving along here. Oh, I love this photo. Again, look at the skill involved in this. And we see these designs from all over the world, anywhere in the realm. The Far East, the Near East, the Middle East or Asia, the Indian subcontinent, Greece, Northern Europe, the UK. So why not the Inuit, I guess? This is great too. Again, just using the floofy bits as an accent. Modern parkas that you pay thousands of dollars for that A, barely will keep you as warm as this, if at all, but B, are designed after these traditional Inuit, and other northern cultures with similar, but designed after this basic concept. The longer the better, traps your body heat. This keeps the wind and the moisture out around the cuffs. It's high around the neck. You have something to pull over your head. This keeps the snow and the wind out of your face because you could pull it tight over your eyes. Plus, they wear those slotted anti-snow blind goggle things. She could go out in minus 50 Fahrenheit, Celsius at that point. It's the same, right? It's the same. She could go out at minus 50 and she'd probably still have that smile on her face. The only thing is she'll probably pull one more layer over her, like her little booty type of thing, which is the mukluk. It's like the fur boot that ties up high just under the knee over the calf. And she's good to go. Yeah, I agree, Kathy. Kathy Broughton in the box says very functional, stylish coat. Hell, I'd wear that. Walking to work here in the winter during a blizzard when it's minus 35 and the wind's coming at you like sideways, freezing your eyelashes together because the wind makes your eyes tear up and it's so cold your tears freeze. Then you're walking to work by sense of feel. Is it over here? No, over this way. Because you can't see jack squat. Well, yeah, I guess Biggs went live here, didn't he? Thank you. Tell Biggs I said hi. I'll be over there. I'll be over there. Yeah, tactical. That's right. Yeah. This is perfect example of form and function. Form looks beautiful, but the form also plays to the function of it. She's going to be toasty. And again, it's the same for playing Eskimo football, even though we used to have a team called the Edmonton Eskimos. Well, this is so you can move your arms around without having to worry about having openings or seams where the wind will get in. This is actually layered over top so that when she moves her arm, the part that's stitched together, the wind isn't going to get in there. It's genius. Absolutely genius. Again, look at all of this symbology, all of this stitch work. And these are from Fullerton Harbor. So I think this might be part of that lady photographer's collection. The painstaking amount of work involved in all of this. Little knots, little beads, and then all this needlework. That's right, realm dweller. Awful fancy for running around in the snow. This is Kingamut Eskimo reindeer herder with his wife and child in Cape Prince. New arrival baby. Might as well. So even the baby gets the fur. There you go. The fur hoodie. Oh yeah, there's a sight we see all the time. That baby's gonna have a stiff neck. No, they kind of carry the baby sort of kind of diagonally-ish so that she can look over her shoulder and check on the baby. Feed the baby, do whatever she's got to do with the baby. You know what I mean? She can turn and face to face. But yeah, that's very typical photograph for sure. Some tattoo work here on her chin. It's I believe it's either a status thing or family marking or tribal marking. Rite of passage markings of some sort, I'm thinking. I'm not too sure. But the Inuit and a lot of the northern, quote, Eskimo peoples practice the tattooing. William Powell says they're still doing the tattoo. Yeah, traditionally, yeah. Same sort of photo. This baby's wide awake. Say right here, again, just the detail. By the way, you'll see here coming up, all the ladies, they rock like super long hair. I mean, the dudes will rock some long hair, but sometimes they'll kind of cut it short in like that awful bowl cut kind of look. You know what I'm saying? But the ladies like to rock the long hair. I mean, there you go. There you go. I'm impressed. Nora Utina, Eskimo woman with unbraided hair, 1901 or 1911, somewhere in that time period. Yeah, those Channel 53 says full thickness bowl cuts are hilarious. Yeah, where they're not layered at all, right? They're just kind of blunt cut. The bangs are like short, and then it goes straight down, and then it's cut like mid-ear all the way around. Oh, yeah, the mo. Yeah, the mohawk. Give me the mo. Oh, jeez. It's the new mullet. Oh my. Yeah, no kidding, right? Pasture of Castle says that's pretty. Yeah, I'm impressed. That's some serious hair. That is some serious hair. Hippie Shakes is beautiful hair. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's Janis Joplin. She's the Inuit Janis Joplin. Look at her beautiful hair, too. She's not quite looking as approachable. She looks a little bit friendlier. Nice little Mona Lisa-esque smirk. But this lady here's like, look, buddy, just snap your photo that you got to do or whatever. I got things I got to do around here, okay? We don't lounge around up here. Yeah, that's right. Baja says seriousness. Everyone can't grow hair like that. I would imagine healthy hair that long, that would be tough, right? You'd start getting the split ends, the dry hair. You got to think, these winter climates, everybody complains their skin gets dry, their hair gets dry. But I imagine because of their diet, right? A lot of the fish oils in their diet. It's good for their skin, good for their hair and nails, good for their joints, and, so they don't get the aches and pains. I'm guessing. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. She does not look pleased to be having her photo taken. But nonetheless, glorious outfit. Glorious clothes. I shouldn't say outfit. It's not a costume. These are her clothes. But glorious. Look at this. These are little beaded and knotted, I don't know what. Hairs? Animal hairs, maybe? I don't know. I'm just guessing. The beads would be from shells, more than likely. Although they do have some little medallion-like, and we've seen a lot of the jewelry sometimes as medallion. Like small, almost like little coins, but hammered really, really flat, and then the holes put through. And then it's attached with a loop, and then off you go, right? But this is just amazing to me. I know I keep harping on it. Pardon the pun. Get it? Harp seal? Sorry. Oh, hi, cutie pie. The hair, man. The hair. Glorious. They all have rock star hair. I wonder what these symbols mean, you know? Could be a person. This could be the head, the arms, the legs, maybe. Maybe it represents the people. I've seen some more metallic jewelry, maybe. Just exquisite. Yeah. I would agree. Pastor of Castle says that looks, quote, Eastern-ish. Yeah, we've examined Canadian First Nations peoples here on the channel before on the live stream. And we've looked at the Mi'kmaq peoples, most especially, who claim to come from the land where the sun awakens, you know, beyond the great waters to the east, basically, right? And we did a compare to, it was kind of a guessing game. Guess who is this, you know, Canadian Indian, quote unquote Canadian Indian, or is it somebody from Uzbekistan? And let me tell you, it's kind of tough to tell. And there's a couple of other nations here in Canada that we compared with Eastern or Middle Eastern, like all those countries that are now Stan countries, right? Anyways, we'll finish it off with a cute one here. The cute kids. This kid's again. This kid's she's the jackass of the party. She's the one that gets the party going. When everybody else is just kind of standing around, being a wallflower, acting all shy. This one's like, come on, let's give her. Start doing the throat singing music and the breathing music. Get the party going. Get the sealskin drum going, and yeah. The ivory wind instruments. Next thing you know, wah, wah, wah. It's party time up in the Arctic. Cute kids. So there you go. That is the file of the Inuit peoples that Sir James Clark Ross would have encountered on June 1st. I keep forgetting the date. 1831, I believe. June 1st, 1831, when he located the position of the North Magnetic Pole on the Boothia Peninsula, far north of Canada. What is now Nunavut. Let's show you on the goggle machine on the map there one last time. Just to give you an idea of where these fine folks live and where this crazy explorer, Royal British Navy guy was going. Where are we here? There we go. That's pretty far. It even takes me a second. Like, where is it? Wow, that's far up there, man. Okay, sure. Yeah, right here. Well, at least in 1831, that's where North Magnetic Pole was. There's Nunavut. So this is Northwest Territories, Yukon, Alaska, right? So as you travel east, Northwest Territories becomes Nunavut. But this, from this line here, this jaggedy border line here, was the Yukon. So from these mountains, basically, east was all just called Northwest Territories. And then they split it into Nunavut. And you think, wow, this is still huge. No, Nunavut's bigger. Because all of this up here is all considered part of Canada land, and it's all considered Nunavut. And that's the Arctic archipelago. So that explorer was just poking around up in here. Here's Baffin Island. Sure. Greenland, of course, right? Hudson Bay. So you think Churchill, Manitoba is far north enough to have polar bears. Well, this is pretty out there. But yeah, they were sailing around looking for the Northwest Passage, and they ended up coming to here, and he was examining the flora and the fauna and doing some magnetic studies of magnetism, and lo and behold, they went overland and found it. And then he eventually went over here too, I think they said. I think up here and here, these bigger islands, or maybe this island. Oh yeah, here it is, King William Island. So now the position of this thing changes. The position of the geographic North Pole, these things all change all the time. It's the wobble, you see, is it now? That's how you can explain that. It's the wobble. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, it's, a lot of them, there's a lot that you can find on the interwebs. But thing is that you get into some of them where they're in a studio, so it's a posed. I mean, a lot of these are posed too. They're not necessarily candid photos, but I mean, where it's not a photographer going to their village and saying, "Hey, do you mind if I snap a few shots here while you guys are doing your thing?" And maybe having some people pose. No, some of the shots you start to see are where Inuit are brought into a makeshift photography studio, probably set up in one of these trading posts or in a church or in some village somewhere, and those are much more staged, and I wanted to avoid those. Yeah, that's right. William Powell says axis shifting. Yeah, I mean the pole shifting, the magnetic polarity, north and south shift, is a thing. But the wandering magnetic pole and the wandering this pole and that pole, I mean, and there's three. It's just a way again of them controlling controlling the information. That way, us filthy, unwashed, booger-eating, window-licking masses are easier to control, right? It is what it is, Oh, yes, of course. Digital archaeology over on the Bumble says look into the Rupes Negra, or the Black Rock Magnetic North. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, and I did find, looking because initially I was also looking at older maps for the live stream here for tonight, just for the, in terms of the subject itself and the research, looking into it. And yeah, they show, the four rivers and the big black magnetic rock. And I thought, are they going to try to say that's Canada now? Because that's not even close, right? It's unless the Inuit know something that we don't know and they ain't telling us. You see what I'm saying? So I think I'm getting ready to wind this thing down here pretty quickly. But before I do that, reminders of a few things coming up for the channel as we move into warmer weather. As we move from spring into summer, coming up quick, fast, and in a hurry here. Warms up. Sorry, my headphones adjusting here. Boots on the ground walking tour of old world brick and sandstone buildings with a local Freemason. Yep, yours truly, old Frankie Fingers, is going to go on a walking tour with my buddy from work, who's a Freemason here in Calgary. He's going to give me the official history of, oh yeah, we built this and such and this and that, and we obtained the sandstone from such and such quarry, and we had it brought down by a horse and wagon to the train track and loaded onto the train and brought into, yeah, okay, we're going to get all that. So keep your ocular sphericals locked onto the channel for that. That'll be coming up as we move into the summer. Of course, the weather warming up, I'll be able to expand my boots on the ground, venture further away from the home base here, because it's not going to be Arctic Inuit weather, you see. Of course, now I got to watch out for the opposite. It goes from minus 35 to plus 35 Celsius. Plus 35 is roughly 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So you don't want to be out in that for too long either. Start walking around babbling to myself like a confused idiot. Oh, where am I? Think you might want to get out of the sun there, bub. Your brain pan's cooking, buddy. So yeah, we definitely be traipsing around a little bit further from home. Maybe some road trips too. I'd like to get out to Banff at some point. Check out the Banff Springs Hotel and even just take a walk and do a quick little peekaboo around the township of Banff itself there in the mountain parks. Canada's first national park, Banff National Park, right here in Purdy, Alberta. That's right. What else is going on? Oh, yes, of course. Reset 1700. Reset 1700, my documentary feature-length film. Coming soon. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet as to exactly when, but it's coming out in the summer, all right? It's coming out in the summer. Here's a quick teaser for you. Yeah, so again, keep your peepers locked on here now. As we get closer, I will release a full-length theatrical trailer for you that lifts a little more of the secretive veil that I've got draped over this project. Of course, going to be doing some other stuff here. I'm going to keep going with the vintage footage every Wednesday. Boots on the ground every Friday. Back here every Sunday for the live show. Frankie Spielberg. Oh, shucks. That's not bad. It's pretty good. He's pretty legit. Sure, as far as Hollywood directors go. Yes, I would agree. Digital Archaeology over on the Rumble says Banff Springs Hotel is a legit castle. Definitely old world. Yeah, I did a live show about that some time back. The whole story of it is as cockamamie as any story you'd kind of want to, one story is just as cockamamie as the next. You know what I'm saying?
I think I can smell shite. Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
Thank you, hippie shake in the box is very exciting, Frankie. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just getting down to some of the final editing, and we're always our own toughest critic, right? All right, before I go, let's see what's in the giggle box here. Let's see what we got for shits and giggles. Kathy's great at sharing stuff, sending me stuff. Oh yeah, this one was this one was pretty good. This is Anthony again, so shout out to Anthony over there in Boston. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Go through the things my followers sent me, please. I don't see what the big deal is about this one. So she's 9 years pregnant. Found this today. Any ideas? I don't know. But where'd they find you? Inside of a pyramid?
Yeah, that's the Crypt Keeper's hand. Whew, I gotta tell you, these things, if it ain't gross feet, it's horrific hands, man. Wow.
What should I get as a baby shower gift? A Nissan Altima, since the kid's going to be 19 by the time... All right, I'll leave that other one alone. All right, I get it. I'm kind of walking the line with that one.
Just says balls, by the way, on that one. It just says balls.
She given birth to an entire middle school? I love when people accidentally post other pictures that have nothing to do with their selling on Facebook Marketplace.
Look at them. What's going on with this guy? Like Anthony definitely nails the hair, but the eyes and the lips. What's going on with your lips, buddy? By the way, your neck has its own chin. This guy's got more chins than a Chinese phone book.
That's crazy!
I can't really talk since I don't have hair, but what did he sit down at the barber shop and say, I'll take the rabies, please.
Now this old fella, he's got some great, glorious hair. The hairline's receded a little bit back. Your forehead's turned into about a 5.5 head now. Your forehead's a 5.5 head, but that's all right. The granddad mustache makes up for it.
This guy's selling firewood. Ladies, this guy's selling a RAV4. The only reason why I'm doing this one, tell me he's not pinching off a fart. Tell me, Clark, he's not pinching off a fart.
A fat. Yeah, the eyes, the shape of the eyes, and they're redder than tomatoes. Those are some red eyes. Yeah, nobody cares, Anthony. That's him. That's the guy. Yeah. Wait, the guy with the bad hair is a YouTube guy? No. Really? Sweet Lord in heaven.
Oh, Anthony, guess the fart. Try to guess the fart.
That's what I would have guessed. That's exactly what I would have guessed, too. That's totally what I would have guessed. Yeah, that's it. His haircut was like a hedgehog. Or like he had rabies. A hedgehog with rabies. Give me the mange 5,000. Give me the executive plague, please. You walk in, you sit in the barber shop, and you say to them, yeah, give me the old-timey workhouse, please. I'll take 1930s Alcatraz haircut. The reverse skunk stripe. It's I wanted my head to look like something from the Muppet Show, but I still don't understand the lips. The lips are just way off the charts for me. I don't understand the deal is with the lips. Just not sure.
Hey, do you guys have any aircraft remover? Yeah, I got one under my sink I need to get rid of. This message is just for Stacy. Hi, Stacy. My name's Anthony. I like to travel. I love movies. Trying new, different restaurants. Coming up with baby names is hard enough, okay? Imagine trying to come up with 14 of them at once.
It's just too much. Anthony, he's too much. He's too...
I wet my jockeys here.
Yeah, that's right, Baja. That guy sat in his chair, in the barber chair, in the barber shop, or the hair salon, the salon. I said, yeah, give me the mangy muskrat. You know, I'll take the rabies-infested opossum haircut, please. He looks like a character from Morrowind, Elder Scrolls reference. Okay, there you go. I have absolutely no idea, but yeah, I'll take your word for it. Because he doesn't quite look 100% real. You know what I'm saying? And it could be because it's a video of a picture of a video, but come on, man. Speaking of video games, I've seen better haircuts in Fallout, for crying out loud. Yeah, give me the Fallout. No, not that one. Fallout. Give me the Fallout 3. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, no worries, bud. No worries. You're super busy there, eh? Buddy can't be everywhere at once. Come on now. Good to see you. Thanks for shooting in there, Sage. All right, where are we at here? Coming up in 2 hours. Close enough. There we go. Thank you very much. I think I'm going to wind it down here. So again, I appreciate all of your support. Thanks again for joining me here and winding down your weekend. Yours truly on the Sunday Fun Day. Don't forget, Wednesday, vintage footage. Friday, boots on the ground. Then we'll see you back here next week for another edition of the live show. If you haven't already, do all the things. Thank you very much. And that's going to seal the deal here for Frankie, New West Reset, and New West Reset Live. So until the next one, take care out there, everyone. Have a good one. All right? Cheers. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Bye.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.